Welcome to the Turkey Hunter Podcast with me, your host, Andy Galliano. In this podcast, I share with turkey hunters just like you how to have more turkeys on your hunting property and how to have more successful turkey hunts. I teach you how to do this with tips and interviews with turkey hunting pros, wildlife management tips, and entertaining turkey hunting stories. Tune in weekly as I share proven and simple strategies to help you have more success this turkey season. Make sure to head over to www.iamturkeyhunting.com to subscribe to receive free turkey hunting tips, tactics, strategies, and product reviews. Also, please visit and like my Facebook fan page. Go to Facebook and search I Am Turkey Hunting, and also feel free to post your turkey hunting photos from this past season and let us know where and when you killed your bird. For all of you Twitter users out there, please follow me on Twitter, where my handle is @TurkeyHitman, and I will be sure to follow you back. And now, for this week's show. Hello and welcome back to this week's episode of the Turkey Hunter Podcast. You are listening to episode 105, Think Like a Turkey to Tag More Turkeys. And I am your host, and the guy who is a little bit older, a little bit wiser, and not any more wealthy than he was before last week's show. So it turns out that even though the Nigerian government identified me as being someone who was scammed, those emails that I was getting, they were scam emails too. Who would have thought that? I had big plans for that $16.2 million, but I just have to keep going onward and upward. We are now 139 days, 14 hours, 58 minutes, and 28 seconds away from opening day of spring turkey season in Alabama. Yeah, it's sneaking up on us here very quickly. So, a little something you guys don't know about me. I am partners with my mother and father in a little venture that we have going on. And yesterday I had the pleasure of spending several hours with my dad while we checked on a project that's going on. Now, most of what I learned about hunting, I learned from my dad. And most of the rest of what I know about hunting, I picked up by watching the animals that I hunt. So yesterday, my dad and I are in his truck, and we were talking, and he was telling me that one of the members of our hunting club was at the property bow hunting for deer this past weekend, but the member said that he didn't see anything while he was hunting. Well, the very next words out of my mouth were, well, he obviously didn't hunt over any water. And my dad kind of chuckled and said, yeah, I don't think he did. You see, my dad got it immediately, and I did not have to utter another word or explain my statement to him at all. What I'm talking about is that it has not rained in most of Alabama in over 6 weeks. And in addition to that, we've been experiencing record or near record high temperatures and bright, dry, sunny days. So what this means is that in most parts of Alabama right now, water is a scarce resource. Water is so scarce that the Birmingham area is on the verge of being downgraded to what we call a stage 4 drought. And a stage 4 drought just basically limits people from being able to water their outdoor lawn or plants down to 2 days per week, instead of being able to water any time that they want. And with no significant chance of rainfall in the forecast, the drought situation in Alabama is only going to get worse before it gets better. So, with no mud puddles and small streams and creeks dried up, and with the hot, dry days that we've been having, this means that a water source is a great place to find wild animals right now. Now, the guy at the hunting club who was hunting this past weekend is a relatively new hunter. He really only has about 3 or 4 years in the woods with real hunting experience. So all of this is still relatively new to him. And just trust me when I tell you that I'm not making fun of him. Because after all, at one point in my development as a hunter, I didn't know to think that a water source would be a great place to find animals during a drought. That thought never would have crossed my mind. But now it does. And that's the whole point and the real reason that I'm sharing this story with you. That's because that one line that I uttered, that one comment, gave me the idea for today's show. So in order for us to become more successful hunters, we hunters need to think more like the animals we're hunting. That sounds a little bit obscure and difficult for us civilized creatures to do, but really it's not. And the reason that it's not is that we don't have to know exactly what the animals that we're hunting are thinking, just what the motivators behind their thoughts are, because those motivators behind their thoughts are ultimately the same motivators behind their actions. And with wild animals, those motivators are food and water, shelter or cover, safety, which also can mean shelter and cover, and the need to breed. So the animal's every thought is related to one or more of those topics. And if we can start to force ourselves to concentrate our thoughts on the needs of the animals that we are hunting at the time that we are hunting them, then we will have more success. So today's episode is a quickie PSA type turkey hunting tip that can be used to have more success when hunting any animal. And here it is. Stop and think about the conditions before you pick your hunting spot for the day or the morning or the afternoon hunt. Has it been dry for an extended period of time in your area like it has here in Alabama? If so, then check your water sources. Has it rained a great deal or even flooded the river bottom or swamp on your hunting property? Then hunt higher ground for success, because unless you're hunting beavers, ducks, water moccasins, or alligators, then your turkeys have probably moved to higher ground. Is it unseasonably warm or hot while you're hunting? If it is, then check your creek bottoms and oak hammocks and your pine plantations, where the temperature typically is 2 or 3 or 4 degrees cooler than it is anywhere else. Are there acorns dropping? If yes, then get to your oak flats or ridges. Have certain areas of your hunting property been overly pressured? If so, go hunt some areas that haven't received as much pressure. Start thinking about the things that turkeys need and how your hunting property does and can fill those needs. And put yourself in those areas that provide those basic needs at the time they're being provided, with a gun and turkey calls in your hand. Pay attention to the weather conditions, past and present, and use that info to decipher how it affects the turkey's food and water, shelter and cover, the safety, and the need to breed. Pay attention to logging activity on your property and how the areas that have been logged recently have changed. Pay attention to what your neighbors are telling you that they are doing to improve or change the habitat on their property. And think how that might affect your hunting property and your turkeys. Start thinking more like a turkey and you will tag more turkeys. Okay, so this might be the quickest episode that I've ever done, but it is an extremely important episode, and that's your Turkey Hunter Podcast PSA for the week. All right, that's all I have for you guys today. Thank you so much for tuning in this week. I know that you have choices, and I appreciate you spending your time with us. I hope you have a wonderful week, and I look forward to seeing you again next week. Goodbye. Thanks for tuning in. You were just listening to the Turkey Hunter Podcast. If you enjoyed the show, please go on over to iTunes and leave a 5-star review. And make sure to head over to www.iamturkeyhunting.com to subscribe for free turkey hunting tips, tactics, strategies, and product reviews to help you have a more successful turkey season. And stay tuned for upcoming episodes on hunting afternoon birds, how to film your hunt, and the breeding cycle of hens, as well as some guest interviews. Thanks again for listening. We know your time is valuable, and we appreciate you sharing some of it with us. See you next week.